What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. Don't do any shows over the weekend, but I did have a loser on that last game in the NBA. It was so annoying. I lost on the under 212.5. Devin Vassell with the FU dunk at the end to put it over. I get it. They hate each other, but man, it cost me some money there, So did have a loser there. Other than that, things have been going in the right direction. What's going on with you, Vino? Good to be back with you.
Good to be back, Skee. I did not play game 7 of the Spurs Oklahoma City. Kind of wish I did because I had that feeling that San Antonio was going to get it done, but that's neither here nor there. Didn't play. But I will say that I had a miserable WNBA weekend. And 0-3, could not find a win. Didn't pull the trigger yesterday on Las Vegas, which probably would have been the right thing, but I think I was shell shocked. So I was just like, nah, I'm going to let this rest today, which is what we often do when we're betting every day and things just aren't going well. But yeah, there was some a lot of stuff that made sense to me, Ski, and then I look at it on the court and it didn't make sense on the court. So I don't know what kind of period this is for the WNBA, but starting today, we're talking about Commissioner's Cup games, so maybe they're a little more. I don't know. Maybe they're more true result wise than what I'm seeing, but maybe not.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Do you see some of the usual suspects there? UCapper also in the chat. What's good,
Oh, nice.
RT?
Hey, Ronald.
Hopefully all is well with you. Appreciate you tapping in. Let's see if we can find some winners today. First game we have is Storm and Wings. Opened up minus 11.5 for Dallas. Looks like 12.5 is the consensus right now. Total has come down from 170.5 to consensus of 166.5. Alicia Clark, game time. Kuye out. Izzy, Malonga, Mayer, Thierry, all out for Seattle. Um, these bigs have been out for Seattle for a while. And the past couple games, they really just gotten destroyed. Back-to-back blowout losses for the Seattle team. We already know they're not the greatest teams when healthy. Missing front court pieces like that, only going to make it worse for Dallas. They started off, I think, what are they, 5-3, 6-3? They started off okay. They're coming off back-to-back wins against the Aces and the Liberty. I mean, they are better than the Wings that I've seen, over the what past few years or for a while. But are we laying 12.5 now with the Wings? I still don't view the Wings as that kind of a team. No matter who they're playing, and I still would look at it as like maybe the Wings overlooked the Storm. I mean, they're coming off wins versus the Aces and the Liberty. Those are two really good big wins. They see the Storm on the other side, who are nobody's even caring about really. I don't know. I think the Storm could do enough to stick around if Dallas overlooks them. What do you think here, Vino?
I think the only pushback on the overlooking the storm would be that it's a cup game. And I just view Dallas as one of those teams that's trying to make the next leap in the standings and probably going to take Commissioner's Cup games really serious here. We will see. It doesn't mean they have to cover 12.5, which is a large number. I agree with a lot of what you said about Seattle, right? Seattle, how about Saturday Ski against Toronto? Seattle gets beat at the free throw line 31-7. They lost by 24 points on the free throw line. They gave up 33 free throws. They only shot 8. They can't get to the rim. They can't stop anybody from getting to the rim. For Dallas in that last game, I think it was Jessica Shepard, right? She had a triple double as a big. What they've done by getting, and they didn't even have Alana Smith in that game. She should be back here. So they're definitely the better team on paper. I think they're motivated here, but I'm going to agree with what you said at the end because I don't trust their defense still to win by 13 points. They could, but I mean, it's just not something I want to do. But I do trust them offensively, thinking that the rim is unprotected in Seattle's case. Um, Seattle's head coach, talked a lot about turnover problems, ball handling issues, constant fouling, all stuff that leads to their poor defense in 2 of the last 3 games where they have given up this total. So I could isolate here and play Dallas team total over, asking them to get to 90. You're looking for 22.5 per quarter. It doesn't seem like a lot against this Seattle team, especially with the scores that Dallas had. And let's just add to it that AZ Fudd seems to be getting a little comfortable now. 22 points last game in the starting lineup, looked pretty comfortable shooting the basketball. That's a couple of good shooting games in a row because she shot it really well in New York as well. I'm probably leaning fairly heavily toward playing Dallas team total over 89.5.
Yeah, I could understand that. Um, Looking at the Wings here, I mean, it was only that one game versus the Dream where they scored 69, but outside of that, 90 plus and, 4 of the last 5 games. So Wings absolutely can put the ball in the basket against the Storm defense, probably can do it. Why would this total come down? Is what I would think. We just can't trust nobody trusts Seattle to be able to do anything. I mean, I don't think the Wings defense is that great. I don't know. I disagree with the total coming down here. But we'll keep it moving. Lynx and Mercury opened up 1.5, looks like 3. Total open 168.5 and is down. We'll call it 166.5. Still no fee, no Dorka for Minnesota. Sammy Whitcomb remains out for the Mercury. Really honestly, in Lynx games, they've been excellent out the gate. I know first quarter has been a thing. They've been playing really good in general. Phoenix has not been. Minnesota games, they like to play with pace. You know, I have a hard time thinking that this game is going to be slowed down. I would think I disagree with the market again. I would go over and probably Minnesota first quarter. What do you think here, Vino?
Well, I can't recommend anything Phoenix related at this point in time. I had these numbers Ski earlier today, and I just want to kind of go through them game by game. But if you're the Phoenix Mercury, you need Kalia Copper to score baskets, to shoot the basketball. I know one of the lines I always remember from you from first starting working with you is I like shooters. Well, how about this? Copper from 3-point range. 1 for 8, 2 for 9, 1 for 6, 1 for 7, 0 for 4, 1 for 6, 2 for 7, 1 for 4, 0 for 5. She hasn't had a good game all year. Something's off there. I wouldn't trust it. You could say she's due, but I mean, she takes a bulk of their shots because she has to, and she's just not making shots. And Minnesota does have, I think, the number 1 rated defense in the W right now. So it's probably even more difficult. Phoenix, for what it's worth, defensively, I think I saw that they were 5th from the bottom. So that would be 10th in 3-point defense. Minnesota's got capable shooters. I can see why this line is going up. Minnesota doesn't come off of an especially impressive offensive game their last time out, but they've had rest. The Lynx have won this thing before, and we know that head coach Cheryl Reeve probably takes this cup serious. So I could see Minnesota. I can understand why people have gravitated towards that side here, pushing it up a couple of points. I could also see maybe focusing in on Minnesota themselves, zeroing in on their team total. I had a notion to want to just play full game total. And the only thing that really holds me back is that Minnesota has been good defensively and Phoenix just isn't shooting the ball well. They don't have enough shooters on this team right now. They could really use Sammy Whitcomb at this point, or they won't have her for another couple of weeks. So to me, I think the look here, Skee, should be, even though the price has increased, I think the look should be towards Minnesota. They seem unfazed by the road. I think they're undefeated on the road this year. So I would probably look that way.
All right, we'll wrap it up with that. And man, today's a little bit of a tough day for me as far as the producer being the producer here on the show. But all right, before we get to best bets, let's toss some stuff up on the screen. I think this one is back here. Buy 3 days, get 3 days free, 6 days for $69. That's a good way to get involved. We still do have um, the all in for the year. Ultimate All Access Pass comes out to under $4 a day. So a lot of different ways to get involved here over at Wager Talk. Vino, I will move it to best bets. If you have one, we'd love to hear it. If you don't, it's all good. And if there's anything else you would love to promote, feel free.
Yeah, I will say really quick that still the NBA has been good for both of us. For those looking for NBA action, we're down to our last series. I'll also say this: listen, you don't have to sit there and believe everything I say, but I will say, as a daily sports bettor for 30 some odd years, generally speaking, Ski, when you hit a rut like I hit this past weekend after going 5-0 to start the week, you usually come out the other side pretty good. So I'm not going to recommend go ahead and purchase my packages, but I'm going to say that this week could be a heck of a lot better. Happen to have been up to like 4:30 this morning because it irritates me to lose. So all the promos that you had up there, we'll roll with those. And for best bet, you know what? I will leave one because I really think Dallas is getting into the 90s here. I see them as a team as this cup progresses, as a team that wants to be included as one of the league's best. So I think they'll put forth their best efforts here. And I just don't know that Seattle has any way to combat what they can do. So for me, best bet today, Dallas team total over 89.5.
Fair enough. Before I go for mine, I want to ask you a question, Vino. Off the top of your head, if you have to say from last season in the WNBA, who was one or two of the worst teams?
Well, off the top of my head, one of the worst defensive teams and one of the worst teams was Dallas for sure. The other, because you're looking at two, maybe Washington was really bad last year, at least played under expectations. I don't know which one you're thinking of, but I definitely think that Dallas is included there.
All right. Well, my thought is I'm looking at like a almost a trend thing, and on this list, as far as teams in this situation, I'm seeing last season wise, it was the Wings, Connecticut Sun,
Mm,
the Sky, all really bad teams last year, right? They all
right.
covered in this situation. I don't think I'm not the hugest believer in this roster, but like I said, those teams were all weak last season, and they all covered in the situation that I'm looking at today. So I'm willing to put a small stake on Seattle. I am Seattle now at 12 and a half. Seems like it's a little bit too much. I don't think Dallas is going to be, overly pumped up or, locked into this game versus Seattle. I think that they're satisfied and happy coming off two wins versus Liberty and Aces. So I think you get a much better game from Seattle after the last game. Like Vino said, they didn't even shoot 10 free throws. They didn't even shoot 30% from three. They stunk it up. I think you'll get a much better game from that side. So I think they'll do enough to keep this one respectable. I will have a small stake on Storm plus 12 and a half. Yeah, I'll wrap it up for us. So, Vino, always appreciate you taking the time to cap the games. It was my process. Sure helps everybody else out there. Chat, we appreciate you all. Best of luck on all your action, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow.